Have you ever wondered why women are proactively choosing to freeze their eggs? Egg quantity and quality naturally decline with age, which can make it more difficult to get pregnant. Mainline Fertility has been a trusted part of our community for over 30 years, providing the expertise you need, success backed by science, technology, and care. Taking a proactive step now can provide peace of mind for the future. Educate yourself and start your fertility conversation today. Visit mainlinefertility.com.
How do you test new mattresses? Flop like a fish? Inspect every square inch? Or order online and just hope for the best? You could test mattresses any number of ways, or let Mattress Warehouse's proprietary diagnostic test narrow down the selection for you. Visit a store near you to try Bed Match, the test that's matched millions. So where would you look to find the perfect mattress? In a little mattress store or Mattress Warehouse? Visit mattresswarehouse.com.
Have you ever wondered why women are proactively choosing to freeze their eggs? Egg quantity and quality naturally decline with age, which can make it more difficult to get pregnant. Mainline Fertility has been a trusted part of our community for over 30 years, providing the expertise you need, success backed by science, technology, and care. Taking a proactive step now can provide peace of mind for the future. Educate yourself and start your fertility conversation today. Visit mainlinefertility.com.
What? Bang! Whoa! Wrestling podcast.
Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screwed rep.
Yeah! Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dan? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for! It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 every time a new video game comes out? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create a wrestler, sign a contract, get into storylines, headline pay-per-views, even build your own corporation from the ground up. Heck, you could start your own PLEs, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shoutouts like John in Texas, John, loving you, giving you that shout out, then give us a look over at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. Don't forget, we have loyalty rewards. If you are a $15 a month contributor, you can co-host a live show with myself. If you donate $7.50 a month, you can get entered into a drawing to also host a live show with me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you want us to get into in a future episode, give us a call at the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and we will get to those comments, questions, and concerns in a future episode. Tonight is all about reacting to WrestleMania Night 2, the show as a whole, and a few tidbits we'll throw in from the wrestling world, because why not? That's just what we do here. So let's get to tidbits first. Let's get the tidbit stuff out of the way. Let's start with yesterday's major announcement: AAA Lucha Libre being purchased by WWE. Worlds Collide coming June 7th. It was announced tonight during Triple H's post-show conference. It will be 3 p.m. because then the same night they have Money in the Bank at 7 p.m. So for fans, when they look at this, some questions emerged yesterday pertaining to talent on the AAA roster, and specifically Alberto El Patron, the current AAA Mega Champion. Patron, formerly known as Alberto Del Rio in WWE, multiple-time champion in WWE, left on, let's say, unceremonious terms, not the most popular character in WWE, has some serious problems with Triple H, had problems with Vince. Over the years has had conversations about possibly coming back, I think more on the Del Rio front than the WWE front. Had some serious concerns with his relationship when he separated from Paige or Saraya in AEW. And then had some other legal entanglements, even recently having an issue with somebody in an arena that led to a suspension and whatnot. So he's not always on the most positive side of things in the wrestling world. The question is, with him being the AAA Mega Champion, will WWE be working with him? And the answer sounds like, at least preliminarily, from anything we can gather, that yes, he will be able to compete with AAA, even though they've been acquired by WWE, who has now essentially acquired all of the contracts of the AAA talent. The other tidbit to get to before we get into Mania itself, last night, night one is always when we see the Hall of Fame inductees, this year's 2025 Hall of Fame, come out and they have their little, 15 seconds in the sun, and they get announced right, usually just before the second to last match of the evening. And last night, noticeably absent was Lex Luger, who has just been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. With that being said, Lex Luger has been at WrestleCon all week. We don't know if it was one of those things where he was just physically unable to continue. Maybe his schedule was a little too rigorous, or was it a financial thing? He was apparently at WrestleCon today, so not sure. I've seen people claiming various things online, that he got a bigger payday for the WrestleCon, or that he wasn't feeling well and he decided to go early or whatnot. Really a shame that he didn't get a chance to step out there in front of 60,000+ people and soak it all in to honor him for his contributions to the wrestling business. Hopefully one of these days somebody does a shoot interview with the guy. We can find out what went down with that and see why we didn't see him last night. Getting into tonight's show, we got to start with the first match of the night, which is also already being considered the match of the night, possibly match of the entire WrestleMania card. Io Sky successfully defending the Women's World Championship against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Hard-hitting, fast-paced, non-stop action, killer finish, tons of finishing holds and exchanges. These ladies brought it, and they brought the physicality level that was something some matches yesterday were just lacking. Not to take away from some of the great contributions yesterday, but this really set the pace for the night. Io Sky, the one person who Vegas totally didn't believe was going to win tonight. Most people had their money on Bianca Belair. There were some diehard Rhea Ripley fans who thought it would go back to her. I felt like it was a little soon to put it back on Ripley. I, too, fell for the Bianca Belair possibility. I thought you would put it on Belair. She would face either Naomi or Jade next. And unfortunately for Naomi and Jade, it's not going to go that way because Io Sky retained. Now, in all transparency, I think Io Sky deserved it. The way they pie-faced her the last month and a half and whatnot constantly, and almost the same kind of interviews repeatedly. I think this really gave her an opportunity to shine where the interview segments have not. Even tonight in the post-show news conference, clearly when she was speaking in her native tongue was much more proficient, struggled a little bit with her English, but still got her message across. As the only missing component from her being a total complete talent is being able to cut a great promo in English. That's not to knock her skills otherwise, it's just that's something on an American television program would be very helpful, but I am thrilled for her. Congratulations to Io Sky retaining her championship in that triple threat. Match 2 of the night, Drew McIntyre defeats Damian Priest by pinfall in the Sin City Street Fight. It was another incredibly hard-hitting match. I love the finishing sequence, the old school push off the ropes through the tables to the Claymore with the steel chair. It was a fantastic end to the match, a very physical match, and hopefully McIntyre moves on to something really big here. Priest as well. Both guys really laid it all out there, and I thought they both delivered in a very big way in a match that I thought would go a little less time, to be honest with you. They went almost 14 minutes, 13:55 I believe. So kudos to them. In the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, comes out as the new Intercontinental Champion, defeating Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Penta after saving the pin attempt. Finn Balor trying to pin Braun Breaker. He hit the coup de grace, went for the pin, and then out of nowhere, Dominic Mysterio hits the frog splash to pick up the win by pinning Finn Balor. Gonna obviously create some intrigue with the Judgment Day. We'll have to see where that goes. The fans 1,000% behind Dominic in this match. Very shocking. Even the post-show where he was sitting out there talking with Joe Tessitore, hearing the fans react, Big E giving him his flowers, and the fans were totally into Dominic with a "you deserve it" chant. Not something we typically hear from Dom. Dom tried so hard to stay in character, talk trash about his dad and things of that nature. Talk about being the greatest Intercontinental Champion after only 30 minutes of being champion. Absolutely ludicrous, insane, but it fit with his character. I'm curious to see where they take it from here, especially when you're getting a fan reaction like he got tonight. It was fantastic. Match 4 of the night, the big anticipated moment. Randy Orton coming out, looking to find out who his opponent was going to be. There were people who thought it would be Rusev. Some people thought it was going to be Aleister Black. I fall into that camp. I thought it would have been one of the two, and it turned out it was neither. It was Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears. The TNA World Champion takes on Randy Orton, and honestly, I thought this was great because it was a very different side of Randy Orton. He didn't have to be the overly serious Randy Orton. We didn't have to worry about punt kicks and all that stuff. We can save that for if and when Kevin Owens comes back to the ring and they can rekindle their rivalry. Instead, we got a playful sort of match. The reaction from the fans when Joe Hendry came out was something to see. Almost brought a tear to my eye. So happy to see him getting his exposure at WrestleMania. Great thing for TNA to allow him to do that. I know this working arrangement, there were some plans in the past for him to be in a storyline with The Miz. This, the grandest stage of them all, the TNA Heavyweight Championship being on display, was a beautiful, beautiful moment. I loved it. I hated the fact that they seemed to really lock Joe Hendry into all of his posing and smiling, and almost like he forgot that he was in a wrestling match. But I do love the way everything went out. I love that Randy really, really did a good job to try to get him over and give him the rub. And I think he did a great job of doing that. And let's be honest, we couldn't have Joe Hendry beat Randy Orton first match in WWE's main roster at WrestleMania. It just wouldn't have made sense. I think they did enough that they can protect Joe Hendry here. And one of these days, I do believe Joe Hendry will be a main roster superstar for WWE. In one of the shockers of the night, Logan Paul defeating AJ Styles via pinfall. And let's be honest, this could possibly be AJ Styles' last WrestleMania. We don't know that for sure. We know that he was kind of planning a retirement tour this year, late last year, and then because of the injury that didn't come to fruition. I hope this is not the last time we see him at WrestleMania. I'd love to see him go out with a win. Did not expect Logan Paul to pick up the win here. Karrion Kross's involvement, very peculiar. The way AJ responded, very strange. I can't wait to see where that goes. I don't know where Logan Paul goes from here.
Your next unforgettable experience can happen anytime. Take an Amex card with you for rewards wherever you go. Morning coffee run with an old friend? Earn cash back. Weekend getaway? Earn miles. Amex rewards your inner explorer. Learn more at americanexpress.com. Terms apply.
Hey, Kristen, how's it tracking?
With Carvana Value Tracker.
What else?
Oh, it's tracking. In fact, Value Surge Alert trucks up 2.5%. Vans down 1.7%.
Just as predicted.
Mm-hmm.
So, we gonna...
I don't know. Could sell, could hold.
The power to always know our car's worth.
Exhilarating, isn't it?
Tracking.
Always know your car's worth with Carvana Value Tracker.
In his press conference afterwards, really played the self-righteous heel, claiming to be so humble when obviously clearly he's not. And I love that Triple H jumped on the bandwagon too, talking about how he's clearly meant for this. He does a great job in the ring. He is a natural. Even if the fans can't stand him, he really does belong out there. So a great match, very physical. Again, you could see the bruises all over Paul's body, and AJ, they really went at it, really gave it everything they had. Solid match. Lyra Valkyria coming out with her new partner, the returning Becky Lynch, the other shocker of the night. Not as much of a shocker if you read the spoiler sheets. A lot of people hypothesized that this was the case yesterday, and many people thought leading up that would be why they would have pulled Bayley. The only thing I feel bad for is Bayley not being a part of WrestleMania. That's heartbreaking. I saw Mercedes Moné out on I think it was Facebook, because I'm friends with her on Facebook, putting out her concerns about Bayley not getting a WrestleMania moment, being pulled from the card. But apparently the word coming out, I saw on Wrestling Inc. today, that this was a planned situation, that they've known for weeks that this was going to happen. How selfless. Kudos to Bayley for stepping aside to make Becky Lynch have that huge moment where they come out and they defeat Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. This is not Becky Lynch's first run with the title. Lyra Valkyria now a double champion. That's a little funky for me. I hope they get that Intercontinental Championship off of her and put it on Bayley if that's what they're going to do. I hate seeing double champions, certainly when they're trying to establish a new belt. I think that's a bad idea. It's almost the way they're doing things with the Ring of Honor Tag Team and Six-Man Tag Team Championship over Ring of Honor, or over in AEW and Ring of Honor. They need to really separate those belts so each one can hold its own prestige. And I think Lyra trying to bring some integrity to the Intercontinental Women's Championship, she needs to be either running that on her own or somebody else needs to carry that belt, and maybe this is a way to transition that. And how could we wrap it up any better than the main event? John Cena defeating Cody Rhodes, winning number 17 via pinfall. Travis Scott coming out towards the end of the match, getting involved, taking a crossroads from Cody Rhodes. Lots of near falls, lots of big hits. No appearance by The Rock. No appearance, at least in terms of a wrestling match, from Stone Cold. There was rumor that maybe Stone Cold and The Rock would be involved in this match. I think that would have been a bad idea for the two of them to get involved based on how things went last year. However, I did think The Rock should have been there for something. I feel like all the stuff that they did at the Royal Rumble really doesn't mean anything if there's no follow-up. And that's kind of where we're at. It's like The Rock does whatever The Rock does because Rock does whatever he wants to do. And that's not always good for the product. Now, I'm happy for John Cena. We got to go there, though. Really, I'm so tired of hearing the GOAT conversation, and 17 breaks the record. For anybody who wants to take the time, because I know it's a point of contention, and the real hardcore junkies have done this before. They know exactly what we're talking about. But when you go look at Ric Flair, and you look at the championship reigns that he's had, if you just do the basic math going into Wikipedia, right, and pulling up the NWA, WCW, and WWE World Championships, you're already at 19. Okay, that's just if you count those. Here's where it gets complicated. Ric Flair has multiple times throughout his career, 4 or 5, I can't remember the exact number. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's 6. There are 6 different times that whether he's in Puerto Rico and they're Puerto Rican champion, people were going to riot, so Ric Flair had him beat him for the championship only to have the belt returned to him the next day because they didn't want to have a riotous situation in the stadium. Over in Japan, losing and regaining championships to Harley Race, to Giant Baba, things like that. Those things happened back in the 70s and 80s when we didn't have access to internet and things like that, where all the news was just so instantly available. If we did, Ric Flair is a 25-time World Heavyweight Champion. The reason I bring that up is because I'm tired of hearing GOAT John Cena. John Cena is one of the greatest superstars to perform in the WWE ring of all time. He is. I agree with that. Is he the greatest professional wrestler of all time? I don't even know if you could put him on a Mount Rushmore, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's think about it. Contributions to the business coming out of WrestleMania. Congrats, Cena. 17. I thought the conversation at the press conference afterward was kind of trash. It's totally a joke. And I get it, he's trying to play this heel character, but it just comes off very strange. Waste of my time. It's late, everybody's up late, and we want to get to bed, and then we're sitting there waiting for a guy to turn down 4 questions when he claims that he was going to answer all the questions tonight and did basically nothing. Claimed that every question he was asked at the press conference was clickbait and a nonsensical question. So, that being said, I'm not taking anything away from John Cena's win. I heard people already, I saw backlash online, oh, he cheated to win. Yeah, Ric Flair cheated to win almost every one of his world championships. Not all of them, but many of them. Cheating is a part of the heel's persona in professional wrestling. I have no problem with him cheating to win. I thought Cody looked like a complete dunce the way he lost the championship. I'm not knocking Cody. I knocked the agent who put that together as the finish. Especially when you have Travis Scott there. Something more sinister should have gone down to take a championship from a guy who last year basically had the Super Friends or the Avengers United of WWE to win the championship and take down the greatest champion of all time. You basically lost to a low blow and a belt shot. And I find that to be shocking when you think about how hard it was to wrestle that championship, no pun intended, away from Roman Reigns. So I think there should have been so much more, especially when people are going to start talking about John Cena, whether or not he's the GOAT. Just for the record, for me, Ric Flair, he talks about it all the time, and for all the things that people could talk about, some of the wrestlers who elaborate and embellish stories, Ric Flair, 7 days a week, twice on Saturday, twice on Sundays for the majority of his NWA run. The guy wrestled thousands of hour-long matches against whoever the greatest talent was in each individual territory, and he made every one of them look like a megastar. Hulk Hogan one time said that he has never had a 1 hour match, that he is nowhere near the wrestler of Ric Flair. John Cena has never had a legitimate 1 hour match, let alone the hundreds that Ric Flair has had. We talk about Ric Flair's world championships like they're the only moniker that determines the GOAT. Take a look at his resume. Whether it's the NWA Missouri Championship, the United States Championships, the Intercontinental Championship he won towards the end of his career, the multiple tag team championships, the Mid-Atlantic Championships, all the championships that Ric Flair has brought together in his wrestling career spanning 50 years, Ric Flair is the GOAT. Talking, in-ring work. And here's the thing, Ric Flair will be the first one to admit to you that he doesn't have a huge move repertoire. He didn't need to. That was the character. It's almost like a John Cena in a way. John Cena's 5 moves of doom. Ric Flair had more than 5. He had spots, multiple spots, from the face bump to the flipping over the turnbuckle and running to the opposite turnbuckle to figure fours to all that stuff. Ric Flair had it all. When you go away from Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, in the ring, as good or better than anything John Cena has ever done. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, let's say his name, even though he's a scumbag at the end of his life. Some of these guys, the Bret Harts, the Kurt Angles, the Brock Lesnars, they are able to go and do something that John Cena can only dream of being able to do. Let's be honest, those championship wins mean that somebody sitting in a boardroom said, let's put the belt on this guy. It's not based on any kind of actual competition. It's predetermined, choreographed athletic displays. I have nothing but respect for it. I'll never call it fake because it's not fake. I've done it. I've had matches. If you want to check them out, they're on my channel. There's a whole playlist of my matches. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not fake. It hurts like heck sometimes. That's not the point. The point is, when you're going to brag about being the GOAT, be the GOAT. Be the one who went out there and worked like a Ric Flair, worked like a Bret Hart, worked like a Shawn Michaels, worked like a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Even going to guys who don't always get the flowers, the Harley Races, the Wildfire Tommy Riches, the Dusty Rhodes, the Giant Babas, the Misaharu Misawas, all these guys that people talk about from other places that were phenomenal. Worlds better than what John Cena's put together. John Cena has done one thing that nobody's done. Made more Make-A-Wish contributions than anyone. I love him for that. He brought wrestling back to relevancy after all these other people tried and failed. I love him for that. He was, hustle, loyalty, and respect for the last 20 years, and I love him for that. Even last year at WrestleMania 40, the way he came out and what he did for Cody and the interaction with The Rock was flawless. I loved all of that. But he is not the GOAT simply because he has 17 championships. And I even hate the fact they say that because they keep going, 17 WWE championships. No, he did not. He won some Ric Flair did not win 16 WWE championships. Ric Flair won 2 WWE championships. All the rest were NWA and WCW. So, just saying, a lot more complicated than they let on to be. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode where we run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always out to Suno AI for generating the music and sound effects on our show. Today's show sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy with Sketchy People. Showcase your artistic side with this game from Beazle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and grab your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life educational planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us tonight. Until next time, take care. Have a great one.
Your next unforgettable experience can happen anytime. Take an Amex card with you for rewards wherever you go. Morning coffee run with an old friend? Earn cash back. Weekend getaway? Earn miles. Amex rewards your inner explorer. Learn more at americanexpress.com. Terms apply.